I don't really know what I'm expecting from streaming. I'm not gonna stream for too long. I think I should probably just get that out of the way now because if I get on here and then I make it seem like I'm gonna stream for a while, this is gonna be disappointment all around. It's gonna be for a small little bit, just to let people out. By the way, it changed over on my side of the country. So if you're in the U.S., happy 4th of July. Hey Robert, what's going on? KXA, what's going on? I'm not gonna be at it too long. Uh, this is more like practice and me having a little bit of mental clarity for the first time in um, give or take months. So I decided to just uh, try this out. So uh, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna try the weekly challenges that I always forget the B scenarios, how to exactly run them. And I looked at it, and I was gonna stream if I got back a lot earlier. There's a 4th of July on the 3rd of July, some fireworks that went down off downtown. So I took Rowan to see that, and had like 5 different weird existential conversations with him. And boy thinks in like 1,000 different ways. Um, I thought it would be over way earlier, and then I'm just getting here, and then he didn't want to go to sleep, and it was just, ugh. So we're getting at this a little later, and I am tired, but there's 2 challenges here. And I'll just flip over to that, and then I'm going to get to life stories, because I put that in the title, and that's all I'm probably just going to talk out of my ass, and God, I've got a song stuck in my head. I'll say really quickly, if you want to screw with friends who don't like the hard rock screaming side of music, but they don't like it because they believe that those singers can't sing, just fuck with them. You just need to know one name, Corey Taylor. Put on some Stone Sour and put on something decent. I don't know what you want to put on, but put on something Stone Sour. And then flip over to Slipknot because it's the same lead singer. My son was liking. He heard some Stone Sour, and he's been asking for Foo Fighters, The Pretender. He's been asking for Lost Prophets, Last Train Home. But he heard Through Glass. And that's been stuck in my head now like crazy. Through Glass is stuck in my head like crazy. And like honestly, half the stories I'm gonna tell right now, I'm gonna have Through Glass just sitting here playing and repeat in the back of my head as I'm trying to do things. So the reason why this one needs practice, this might be the first challenge that I don't know if I can beat. Like, there have been other challenges I've had to like do things like dip down to normal, but there's one challenge I dipped down to normal. I can't remember what it is, but I swore that the challenge I dipped down to normal, I almost did it for 10,000 steps. And I can't remember what else I did with 10,000 steps, but it might have been, I don't know what it was, but I don't remember what I did with No Time for Detours last time I did it. I don't know. But when I beat No Time for Detours, I beat it with like 9,997 steps taken. I have to do the B scenario to do that, and I forget how to run the B scenarios. But this time now, I have to run it perfectly. Take damage 5 times or less. Here, counterattack 3 times or less. Here's where that problem is a problem. When the take no more than 10,000 steps, we found out that knife strats make you take steps. So every time you swing the knife, it's parsing as if it's something like 3 to 6 steps whenever you swing your knife. So every single time I'm doing that for G1 Birkin, G3 Birkin, trying to do that with the Tyrant to put him down faster. Anytime I use the knife, I'm taking extra steps, and that's a pain in the ass. And now I've got to do all of that while barely taking any damage. And last time I did the take damage 5 times or less one, I was literally on the last time I could take damage, and if anyone watched that, I was playing Leon. If I took damage on G3 Birkin, I couldn't take damage on the Tyrant. The Tyrant's almost impossible to not take damage on when you're going for the rocket launcher if you don't see in that split second if he's doing the charge attack at you. And if you are, you can sidestep to the right. If you sidestep to the right too fast, he might just do a hook and swing, and in that case, you just need to back up and run him around. You don't go for the rocket launcher immediately. So if he starts doing the hook and you don't go for the rocket launcher immediately, if it's a straight jab, he hits you even if you turn around. If it's the hook, you can run it out and he'll barely miss you. And there's one other that if you run to the right, but I can't remember what it is. The leap, of course, if you run to the right. It's just a pain in the ass. Oh yeah, my son likes good music because I only put good music in front of him, really. So I'm going to say hi, and then I'm going to start down just practicing. Don't expect greatness, and I probably won't even finish this tonight because I'm really tired. Maybe an hour, maybe two of streaming before I head off to bed. My brother, holy shit. My son wants to go jogging with me in the morning. I try to wake up and get blood pumping. So now I'm going to regret my life in the morning. But I see a lot of people. I see a lot of regulars showing up. Tess, Foco, Eric, Perfect Image being here a lot. But I'm also seeing a lot of shields and mods here. So Patton, Bailey, Chad, KXA, I said hi already. Lori, and I said hi to Robert already. And L, wow, you're up late. Holy smokes, this morning for you. Yeah, Chad, great. It's great songs. Dark King. Danny, what's going on? Oh boy. So I'm gonna just practice a bit and tell life stories. I don't know where I should start off. Usually when I say tell life stories, it's stuff that's happening. I'm gonna start off with something else though. Let me just start the game first. No, not extra mode. God, I got it all wrong. So I've got to remember how to run him. I think the biggest problem I'm about to run into is that to cut off steps for Leon, one of the biggest waste of steps he's got is getting the Magnum. So while usually on the B runs I say get the book, probably shouldn't. That's number one. The rest of it is just that I think in the A scenario so much that I mess up the B's. So I just want to run it a few times to jog my memory so I'm not so much of an idiot when I probably tomorrow will stream and try to beat it for realsies. Which, oh boy. See, in the challenges it said you can only do this hardcore for the getting damaged one. Which means that even if I wanted to wuss out and say I can totally do 10,000 steps and only getting damaged 5 times or less if it was on normal, yes, I could do that. However, I can't for the challenge. Like, the challenge is pretty specific this time. Can't do that. So some of my normal wuss out tactics of if it would normal, I've only done that twice. I've only wussed out once or twice. When doing this, that's fine. I'm still sore from moving a car. So it was day before yesterday. It was just not my day. I wasn't feeling it. I'm still counting today as today, even though it's past midnight. So I had a doctor's appointment that had to get rescheduled after I drove an hour there and an hour back because it's an hour away. So I mean, that's already a weird day coming up. And oh no, did I start running too slow? No, I'm fine. It's a weird day. Everything's kind of feeling a little off, a little weird. And I was driving back. I saw a car broken down, and it was someone, I could tell they're young enough that they had never dealt with a breakdown before. And it you know, it made me sad, but it was one of those times where I just, sorry, Ben, like, I had to drive 2 hours for nothing type thing. And, you know, I tried to tell people you try to do the right thing and be nice and help others, and it was just one of those times that Like, I didn't want to do that. And I thought to myself, of all the times that you don't want to do something like that, isn't this the time you should? Like, they're just... He's sitting there. He doesn't know what to do. He's like pretty lost right there with what he's doing. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. So I use another tactic to like get myself like ready enough for like that. Another tactic of telling myself you need to help them. Uh-oh. There we go. And after convincing myself that somebody needed help because it was a busy intersection, there's a lot of cars, he could have been in trouble. He was in this car, they just tried to pop the trunk. Should I get the board now? He's in a car, he just tried to pop the trunk and hope for the best, and it's... Oh no, don't take extra steps. And it wasn't working out for him, so I parked. It was one of those last seconds I was like, yeah, I'll fucking help. Like, every part of my being didn't want to, but... So I decided to pull over in a CVS and whip it on back around. And got out, helped him. I pushed his car for him into a parking lot. And I told Rowan that I did that. I told my son that I helped. I don't need many of these healing things because I can't use most of it. So I told Rowan I had done that. And I told him for a reason because I said, do you think after a bad day I wanted to stop and help? He's like, no, but you like helping people. I was like, yeah, I like helping people, but there's only so much you can take in one day. It was a bad day. It was just a bad day front to back. There wasn't much. Okay, where's the next board? Is this the one I'm going to use in the hallway because of where I'm positioned and everything? Because I'm going to go through the hallway, going to cut straight through. Because I can't double back for these windows, so there's no other window for me to do this. It's one or the other. I got to choose. I'm going to choose the other ones. I'll use the shotgun more than I want to. So I said, do you think I did it because I really wanted to help at that point? And he said, well, maybe you didn't want to, but you help. I said, no, there's another way that I get through things like that. I said, it's not always selfless. It can be quite selfish. You can help people for a very selfish reason, and it works out. It helps you get through doing things like that. And I said, what if one day I'm having a bad day, a really bad day? Stuff like that's happening to me, and I need someone to help me. How many of those people do you think are just going to pass right by me? Kind of like everyone is passing by them. He's like, a lot? I was like, yeah, pretty much everyone's going to do it again. They're going to pass on by. They're not even going to pay attention and somebody needs help right there. Just gonna let it go. I said, what if he passes by, though? What if one day when I'm up shit creek, he passes by instead? Not just some random person, but this teen that didn't know what to do with a broken down car. What if he's the one that actually sees that I'm gonna need a little help? And I got a mohawk. He might notice me. Think he might do something? He's like, yeah, if you help him, he might do something. I said, yeah. Every now and then it can be selfish. Every now and then, if you really have to put it down to something, you can selfishly help someone. You can sit there and tell yourself, get yourself ready, tell yourself it's something you really gotta do. And you can do it all for the absolute most selfish reasons. You can tell yourself that maybe somebody else driving by will notice that it's you that helped out. Or maybe later on, one of those people see you helping out. They decide to help out someone else on their own. I don't ascribe to something like karma. I really don't. But I do believe that people can really tell innately. A good majority of people can tell people they're dealing with that are willing to go the extra mile for them and people they're dealing with that are pretty selfish. And I think that really has a lot to do with what people think of as karma. That, you know, you might be more willing to help someone if you look in their eyes and you think, they would probably help me, you know? Like, if you look at them and you realize that that's the kind of person that would help me. And that might make you just sit there and think, you know what, he might be worth my time for 2 seconds. And so, what I was trying to teach Rowan just with that moment was, you can be feeling selfish, you can be feeling not your best, you can feel a lot of things, And you can find a reason still. You can find a reason to do the right thing, even if it seems like in your head it's for the wrong reasons. Sometimes that outcome really matters, though. I'm sure that that kid really, it mattered to him. He wasn't stuck in an intersection anymore. So, hey, welcome to the family. I see that over there. Val, welcome back to the family. The alerts better be working. Or is my volume turned down too low? Did it pop up on the screen? There it goes. Welcome to the family. So yeah, I'm trying to teach him like completely well-rounded. And every now and then when you think of someone being helpful and selfless, is people that can really sometimes, even when they're not feeling like so helpful, they can figure out a reason, something that compels them, something that helps them move forward and still do the right thing. That's one of those cases of doing the right thing, maybe for some of the wrong reasons, but for somebody that, you know, I'm trying to raise Rowan to realize that doing the right thing takes effort. Doing the right thing isn't easy. I'm sore as fuck. His car was fucking heavy, and we had to go up a hill for a little bit. So, you know, and of course he didn't get out the car to help me push the thing. Like, I guess he wasn't thinking about that, maybe? That maybe he needs to get out of his car and help me push the car. But, I mean, what was I really going to expect from... It looked like somebody who was completely lost with what the hell was going on with his life at that moment of time. So, you know, I told him I might never see it. I might never see that guy again. I might never see anybody else that saw me pushing it along. But I do know that somebody that saw me might think that they could be the one to help someone else next time. I do know that if that guy ever runs across me again and I'm in need of some help, he's most likely going to be like, hey, what's going on? You know what I'm talking about? Give you the whole, like, runaround of, like, what's going on, man? You're having an issue, something going on? Totally selfish reasons, you get the right result. So that's the story I'm starting off with, that it's hard to teach those things, because most of the time when the right thing needs to be done, it's not convenient. You're not at a convenient point in your life where you're just like, oh yeah, the right thing. I was totally going to do that on my way to everything else I had to deal with today. Totally going to do it. No, usually doing the right thing takes going out of your way. And when you gotta start talking about going out of your way, you're talking about a lot of shit that you probably don't want to deal with. Especially on a day that got almost to 100 degrees. Humidity is, I don't know, god awful.
Son of a bitch.
Nothing. Oh, no, that counts as a counterattack. I can only do 3 of those the whole game. Good thing it's only practice. So I don't know. I've talked to him before about doing the right thing, and then that person you do the right thing for is more compelled to do the right thing for others. But I've tried to also tell him how it can come back to him. Because that's still a selfless act when you try to start thinking of doing the right thing for other people, that they might do something right for somebody else. Then you're kind of assuming that so many people are doing the right thing that one of those people you did something for someone else who did something for someone else, that in your time of need, now they're conveniently there. That's not enough sometimes to be like, fuck it, I need help. It's not enough. So every now and then you gotta throw in a lesson of, like, you know what if you took the whole jar of fuck it pills today and you have 0 fucks to give? Like what if it's one of those days and you see someone in need? Well, you can go the selfish route to convince yourself. You can go with the route of maybe people will see me doing it. Now, I told him never ever do it hoping that people sit there and give you all these thanks and praise. No, I pushed his car and I got back in my car. I got the fuck out of there. I think I emphasized that enough times where he's like, Dad, I get it. You don't have to say that. I'm not trying to do it for that. And he brings it back to Superman all the time. This is the unicorn, right? This is the kid scales worm. Is that it? No, the other worm. So, oh boy. How about if I take him down from here? Since I gotta deal with both of them again. Can I get away with this? Come on. Every step I take is against me on this. So, I don't know. Teaching lessons like that is hard because then you gotta usually back it up with action. And then you gotta explain why the action correlates with the lesson in the first place. And then you gotta make sure that it doesn't go over his head. Now, I had to go through the very difficult thing of he really wanted to watch Man of Steel for a long while here, and I won't let him watch Avengers movies, really. He's dead. I won't let him watch all that. Not grabbing the book. It's more running. For not grabbing the book, I'm getting the rounds at the end of this hallway so I can deal with the woman upstairs. Because I think I can run circles still around the guys in the bottom. I think I could do that. I won't let him watch a lot of those things because, you know, seeing superheroes have to take on violence is a thing. And then watching your heroes die is another thing. Those are all hard things and concepts to go through. But I decided after his idol, Superman is a running thing in my family. I decided to let him watch Man of Steel after he's seen the original Superman, which in that, all that happens is, man, I don't remember many of the B-run stuff right at the moment. Is Lois Lane in the original Christopher Reeve Superman. She dies and he turns back time, which is, woo, continuity break. So there's, oh, come on, dude. So before he watched Man of Steel, I wanted to go through a few important questions with him. And there's one question that hurt because no. And this is why this is gonna be practice for getting through the RPD once. Oh shit. So I'm practicing pretty much trying to get through the RPD once and think about what I do and don't need, because it's not gonna be my normal runs of what I need at all. So you just see me run through it and try to mentally suss out what my inventory is looking like, who has to die, who has to be killed, what am I gonna get tagged by. But, and I'll say hi to some more people here in a moment. Don't think I'm ignoring, I'm just in story mode. So, in having talks with him, we've talked about that before. About him thinking he believes in his own belief, and he didn't get this from me. And those that might know something about my past, maybe you would guess that he wouldn't get this from me. But it's not something I'm going to go into right now. That he started saying, I said, what if somebody has to protect somebody else and they have to do something that you would usually think of as bad to do it? What if they have to hurt somebody else to make sure that people who don't deserve to be hurt stay safe? And he said, that makes him like a 50% bad guy. I was like, what do you mean by that? He said, well, they did something really bad, and they're not quite a bad guy, but they did something bad, so it's still bad, even if it's for people to be good. I said, yeah, it's a bad thing that had to happen for good people to be around. He said, but it doesn't make it not bad. I said, you're right, it's still a bad thing that happened. But when you look at times when there's no choice, maybe the bad thing is the only way to save people who need to be saved. I didn't need to come back down. I was totally in A run mode. So I didn't use the valve. I usually turn in for the B runs and use the valve to get it out of my inventory, and I didn't do that. And of course I don't need to run down these stairs. Yeah, I'm gonna let him do this because I'm about to restart the RPD in a second to see if I can do this a little bit more fluidly. I could probably take a kneecap of Marvin and them down, put them on a leg. Because if I put them on a knee, then they'll be pretty predictable downstairs. They're not going to crawl too fast after me. And it might be my wiser move. Unless their leg holds on forever. Okay, if they have a forever leg, it's not my best move. Holy smokes. It's been a long while since that level of dicketry has gotten to me. If I hadn't gone back over there, if I had just gotten the weapons key card, I could have come back over here. And then I could run it like this. Do the fewest steps. I can't get hurt. It's gonna be a pain in the ass. I can't get hurt for this. I know I'm gonna get hurt in during the G fights. I can't get hurt. Alright, so you know, I've been having conversations with him about it because I was like, you know, in Man of Steel, you're gonna watch Superman do something and it's gonna make him hurt inside. Like what? He's like, he's got a choice. There's a bad guy that's saying that he won't stop. And Superman has a choice to let the bad guy kill someone or to kill the bad guy. And I said, there's no way around that one. And you're going to have to decide if you're okay seeing something like that. And so I've been having talks with him for about a week now, even longer than that, just leading up to the idea of watching something like Man of Steel with him, if that's really what he wanted to watch. And he kept saying things like, you know, well, could he call the police? I said, the police weren't an option. He said, could he have convinced them? I said, he tried. Could he have done anything else? I said, no. I said, what do you think? Does that make him a bad guy if that's what he has to do? And he got quiet for a little while. And he said, it makes me really sad to think that people would ever have to do that. I said, it is really sad. But unlike what you might be taught all the time, which is the truth, that you should try ways like the police or, you know, for you adults or anything that you can try. Every now and then, the choice is moments. It's not a choice that can be made with enough time to spare. And I said, you're going to watch that he doesn't have time. He's got no time to make a choice. And I waited so long because I was hoping his mother would get involved with the conversation, and I was hoping for something that never happened. I even told her at her door that she really needed to have that talk with him because he was going to be torn up about it. Because I did want to hear. I was frank with her. I said I wanted to hear her perspective on it, and honestly, why I wanted to hear his perspective was because I want every time he hears me talk about something like that, he starts crying. I never really understood why he was crying. I use that flash. That's right. I could get this red herb here for the ones I've already stacked away. Okay. I need a green. It's not the red I need. It's the green that I need to not go out of my way so I can use a shield later on. That's right. Yeah. So.
Jesus Christ.
So. I tried to give her a chance to chime in on this conversation of, fantasy violence that's fiction, but it looks very real and it talks about very real issues like people who are trying to save others and forced to do something that you would think of as bad. And he's been talking about it like all day today about like that. And I asked him after he saw it. I said, "What choice? What other choice did Superman have?" Because in that movie, Zod pretty much says he won't stand down. And in Zod saying that he won't stand down, the tyrant's right here with me. In Zod saying he won't stand down, I didn't blow off the head. Then there's a huge problem of that Rowan got to see on screen, that he was trying to burn a family alive across the hall, and it was getting close, and Superman's crying out to stop it, and it looks like he's about to cry and scream, and then he snaps his neck, which I knew that was coming, and I paused it, and I said, "You can look away for a second." He thought about it, and he said, "No, I think I'm okay." Which is one of those times where you're like, I hope my judgment's good enough that I know my son well enough that even though he is that young, he is okay with this one scene because we talked about it. I wasn't just gonna let him go into it blindly. So we talked and we talked, and I know that sometimes he gets tired of my people get tired of me talking all the time. It doesn't matter. My words are the only thing I've got to teach my son. Like, you can get tired of me talking all you want to, but when it comes down to it, when my only tool to defend him from this world is many times the words I have to say before he has to face the things he has to face, so he actually has an idea of what the fuck he's supposed to do, talking is all I got. And I gotta use it, because he's my son, and it's my job. So, yeah, I talk his ear off about shit like that, but he saw it and he went through the same list again. He was like, why didn't Superman ask for the police to come in? I said, you saw where the fight was happening. You saw what was happening. He said, what if he could have pinned him down and made him stop doing it? I said, he had him pinned down pretty well. He couldn't control his face enough. Couldn't let him go. Well, what if he did all these other things? I said, Rowan, is Superman still a good guy to you? And he said, yeah. And I said, in the rest of this movie, did he do things that seemed like it was okay for you? He's like, he could have hurt people when he got General Zod off of his mom, which there is the scene that like they choke his mom and throw him, and like Superman gets pissed, says, don't touch my mom, and drags him across the field and throw him through the thing. I was like, yeah, he got angry. He had a reaction. He had an anger reaction. I'm gonna try the RPD again now that I know don't back out. I can grab a few things. I said, but did you see systematically that when they showed him as a child, he tried not to fight, even though he could have like hurt all of them? Did you see that he tried to use his words? Did you see that when he got angry, he walked away from fights? Did you see that when he was fighting people, he tried to talk with them about why it was bad what they were doing? Did you see that he tried to work with the military to make sure he was doing the right thing? Did you see that he gave himself up to our military when they thought he might be a threat, so that the right thing to do was, he said, was he wasn't giving himself over to the bad guys, he was giving himself over to pretty much the scared people so that they could trust him? Did you see he tried to do every single thing, and then at the very end he was forced to make a bad choice? And he said, yeah. And I said, if those are the only two choices, either to let somebody kill good people or to kill the bad guy, and you cannot do anything else, is it wrong to kill the bad guy to save good people? And that's when he got quiet for a while, because we talked through the whole thing. We talked through the whole thing. And now I'm going to retry the RPD, not getting tagged, not using things. And he talked through the whole thing, and he finally said, it makes me sad. I said, that's the right reaction. But that's not the question I asked you. I didn't ask you if it made you sad. I'm asking you if you still think it was the right thing for him to do. If that's all he had to do. If that's the only choice he had, is that still the right thing for him to have done? And he wouldn't answer me for a while, and I let it go. And we went and saw fireworks. And we got near the church that was sponsoring a lot of the fireworks and activities. And he said, I'm 1% glad that he died. Is that wrong? And I said, I don't know if that's quite wrong, but what's the rest of it? He said, I'm 1% glad he died because it means good people didn't die too. But I'm really sad that somebody had to die and there was another choice. And I said, that is the right answer.
Claire.
And I said, the rest of the right answer, does it make it right or wrong? Did he still do the right thing? And he said, if there wasn't another choice and he was trying to protect people, it's still the right thing. And I said, all right, and tell me one more thing. What did Superman act like right after he had to kill Zod? What did he act like? He said he screamed and he cried. I asked him why. It's like, because Superman doesn't want to kill anyone. I said, and that is the exact reason why he was allowed to do what he did. it was done by someone who doesn't want to kill, by somebody who wants to find any other way. And because that is the reaction of the person that did it, of remorse, but determination that that was the only thing he could do, but remorse that that's how it had to happen, it made it okay. And so, yeah, we had a long talk, and it's things that really like that bother him, that you don't think. My son is 6. Before you say that that's too young for him to do anything like this, remember that this is the same child who has like real existential fucking quandaries that I have to go pull out a book that deals with the creation and degradation of black holes to start even talking about the things that he's thinking about. 6-year-old needs a textbook on black holes and how technically it's the sustainability of a black hole that really, the viability, it's not the creation of one that makes it one dangerous, because they can be created and then not even have the power to suck in like a grain of sand, technically. Depends on what you're looking at. But, I mean, in theory. So, you know, this is the same child that I'm having to have these conversations with. So it's not like I'm, you know, doing this conversation with a kid that's not already asking some really fucking tough questions. So, I mean, this is one of the times where I realize that, like, parenting really has to be structured and catered for the child that's being parented. Because my conversation with him is out of line in so many ways for some 6-year-olds I know. His cousin is a good example. That conversation is out of line for his cousin. His cousin just doesn't think on the level. She's like 7 months older than him. Doesn't really get that kind of stuff. She can't imagine, can't think. That's not her dad. Her dad is off and on deployed. Like, it's the kind of thing that you would hope that his cousin would get, so she could understand why daddy is gone, because daddy all of a sudden has to leave and go to the sandbox, and she's, you know, she needs that kind of thing. But that conversation is inappropriate for her. She can't wrap her head around it, no matter what she does, really. For my son, like, I never thought I would have this kind of conversation with him when he's 6 years old. But it's catered toward who he is, and who he is a kid who's wrestling with things that I meet fucking adults who never think of this shit. And he's sitting over here telling me that he thinks of these things, and he admitted a long time ago that he'll go to the bathroom to cry because it upsets him, and he's trying to figure it out, and he wants to know the answer, and he doesn't want to have to ask me the answer every time, but it makes him upset enough that he knows if I hear him crying, I'll come find him and I'll give him an answer. So he was starting to hide in the bathroom and cry. And I didn't want that happening anymore. So, I mean, I've been open with my son for the longest time. But some of the things I have to be open with him I gotta be careful. I gotta make sure that, because, I mean, we're talking about a child who, he takes everything very literally. So it's a very literal world to him. You got to be careful with how you put it, because a figure of speech when you're talking about something serious will throw him off. He'll remember that, and he'll remember it as a fact, and you didn't never mean it as a fact. So, I mean, and he, you know, he's good with what-if statements because he watches the What If channel a lot. He's good with a lot of things. I have to be extremely careful. It's just balancing act where, you know, some subjects come up and I immediately realize I have to back off of the subject, that I, you know, talk about it, and he's just not ready for it. And so I realize, like, it's like I have to back slowly away from it and wait for him to bring it back up, and I have to go off and, you know, do a little bit more research. Whenever I get into a topic that might be too early for him or inappropriate because of just where he is developmentally, because you have to also remember, children that young can't handle the entire real world. They're just not developmentally made for it yet. Their brain literally can't handle the entire truth. So you have to kind of choose what truth am I going to give them that gets them through and make sure that they can still trust me to give them the full truth. My biggest fear is that I'll tell him an innocent white lie. And that innocent white lie will make it so that the next time I need to tell him something serious, but, you know, I've got to go back on what I said pretty much. That innocent white lie that I thought would protect him for 2 seconds does 2 years of damage. As I sit there and try to explain to him how Daddy just wanted to protect him by lying to him. I've even had to bring that up with him about my divorce. I've had to tell, I sat my son down and I said, I have to lie to you every now and then. I have to. There are certain things in that divorce decree I have to lie to you. When I talk about it, it's not going to be a big lie. It's not going to be the kind of lie that makes your life much different. But it's going to be a lie. Because there are certain things that we agreed on that we just wouldn't talk about. With that said, if you ever ask me the real direct question, I will not lie to you and I'll tell you the truth even if you're not ready for it. I will tell you the lie I'm supposed to tell you. And when you're ready for the truth, or when you're old enough to think of the question that will get you the truth, I'll tell you the truth. Even the fact that I have to lie to my son ever, I had to give him a talk about that Daddy will lie to you. But he doesn't want to. It's a lie that he has to give because he signed a document that talking about how he would treat you when it comes to everything. So, you know, even when I talk about things of having to lie to my son, I tell him the truth that I'm gonna lie to him about things. But he has figured out, trust me, there's 1 or 2 things I don't necessarily want to bring up now, but 1 or 2 things that I could not tell him the truth about because there's a little part of my divorce decree that says I can't pretty much degrade my ex-wife's image in his eyes. I can't be the one to give him details. For example, the idea of ever telling him that there was an affair, off the table. Cannot tell him that. Not until he's older and can understand that kind of stuff. I can't tell him that. I can't tell him that. But he started to figure out very well that the timeline is not lining up. He has started to ask the questions of when Mommy must have met her boyfriend. And he's getting very close to getting the truth, but I still have to give him the runaround. And to me, it's a white lie. The runaround I give him is the white lie. But I can't give it to him. He has to ask me. And that is the truth. Honestly, if it came down to a court situation where that she, you know, it can come down to court where one parent is estranging the other parent on purpose because of saying shit that they shouldn't because it's an adult topic. If it came down to that, pretty much I got a track record of saying I told him the prescribed lie and he figured that shit out. After I tell him the prescribed lie enough times, I can tell him the truth. If he corners me, I'm allowed to. I know my right for this. And unluckily for her, she's gonna find out sooner than later that he's really close to a lot of things. And there's nothing I can do about it because he talks to me. There's nothing I can do about it because I don't want to do something about it. My son deserves the truth as often as I can give it to him. I'm gonna get the red urban here. And so, I don't like that I'm giving up these steps, but it's fine. It's for later. I don't want to get the ones in the bottom, if I can help it. There's one in the bottom I could skip because of that. So, all these subjects are hard to come about, and talk about and whatnot. But, oh, come on. I'm gonna run out of rounds. And the B side is where I sometimes don't kill Marvin and stuff because even in the guide I made for this, the B side is where you can have bad luck and no choice. Oh crap, the board. The B side is where you can have bad luck and you just run out of ammo trying to do it the way I want to do it. Just have horrible luck and there's nothing you can do. Oh, come on. Drop. I want to see how it's gonna run like this. All right, those extra steps, they might not have been worth it to go in there for that that herb. I mean, I can get tagged 5 times. I'm trying to think of all the places that I might need that herb. The other place I could save rounds. Well, okay. Let's think realistically. I can save rounds right here. That guy's respawn point won't get downstairs to me, so I can leave him to wander and I can just put him down. So I should be shooting his kneecap. Oh, God. I'm thinking like a speedrunner. Shit. The ones that respawn and get in the way of where I'm going to go. This hallway is... I'm not as clear, so I don't have to cut back through here with the heart key. With Leon, I have to come back to the 2nd floor. So... the one that comes through the window respawns. The police officers can be a pain. I can try kneecapping them. Because think about it, if I go through this and I kneecap the police officers, because the one's banging against the machine, the other one's not doing anything. When I come back through there with the card to get the shotgun and everything, go upstairs, the one on the ground has to die. The one banging on the vending machine can be left to his devices. The one on the ground has to die. Technically, I'm gonna do something. Okay, I'm gonna restart this. I'm gonna do something I'm not comfortable with. I'm killing the one that comes through the window. The woman resets usually behind the vending machine. The guy comes down off the stairs. Kneecap him twice? If I don't depend on that, the dark room, ever. If I don't ever go in there, then I can let her fall off the ledge, never tag her. Kneecap the guy on the stairs. Kneecap the guy upstairs to get past him. Run right by, I don't need to worry about rounds anymore. That puts me as killing just the one on the ground, right? And so that gets me, that's 3 kills I don't have to do. It saves a few rounds. Alright. I hate having to think like a speedrunner. I'm not a speedrunner. So, alright. Some more stories. I was thinking about, a lot of my stories end up revolving around my son. I mean, the first one was me telling a story about what I'm trying to teach my son, but I mean, I could have just said, I helped somebody in an intersection. They were broken down. I pushed their car and my whole body hurts. Though, you know, I don't ascribe to karma. I really don't. And here's the reason why. There are plenty of people I see who do great things their whole life and nothing ever comes back to help them. But I see those same people sitting there, and when they do great things or nice things or anything like that, people just recognize their face, or people come to them naturally.
I'm so close!
Oh my God!
I'm like a goddamn gigolo, ready to burst, and she's saying no, 3 more minutes at least!
Hey Darkness, loved your Everyman's Guide. I know it's been months, but I appreciate your help in getting me S+ for both Leon A and Claire A runs. Thank you, man. Keep doing you. And I hope this helps.
It does help. It absolutely does. Thank you so much, Joey. Everyone hashtag Joey over there. That really, that I'm in a groove of like storytelling, but I don't want to downplay at all the fact that like, I have a story about my own health to come up soon. And maybe you'll explain why I might be a bit better and more active at some of this stuff here soon. So I'll get to that. I don't make excuses for myself. I've just got what I've been going through, so as a thing. My voice is not just miraculously better. I'm on a fuck ton of steroids. Prednisone at what is it? Just
Not exactly how.
60 is usually the highest you should go with it. I'm on 80 milligrams right now just to get rid of the damn inflammation that's there. Is that what I'm on? 60 is right. The normal. I'm on a fuck ton of steroids right now. No. There we go. Oh, come on. That was an unfortunate grenade toss again, but thank you so much, Joey. So
This is not how I imagined my first day.
I'm still trying to think as I do this, and it's hard to think about things. You know, telling stories usually revolve around my son, because even if something happens to me, it's my job to teach my son, so I have to use my own life. And I get some weird looks from parents. I get parents that hate it when I use my own life, because they're like, you shouldn't tell that, you're like their parent and they shouldn't think of you. I was like, no, I'm fucking flawed. My son should look at me and think that I could do better, that I do great, but maybe I could do better, and that I'm trying. See, that's where I would be scared if he stopped. He needs to know I'm trying to do the best, but I could possibly do better. I'm not always perfect, because my job isn't to be perfect to him. My job is to make him better than me. How does he become better than me if he doesn't know my shortcomings? Some of them he shouldn't know till later, but he's got to know that I fuck up. He's got to know that daddy's not perfect. He's got to have me sit down with him and tell him when I screwed up and wish I did better. And he's got to hear me say, but you can't play the what if game for your whole life, because now I need to take this and not make the same mistake again. And you never need to make the mistake, because you just heard me talk to you about why it was a mistake, why it hurt so bad, why there were better ways, why I could have made a better choice and I didn't. Because my job, and he will tell you my jobs. If you ask my son, what are my jobs? He will tell you to protect, provide, make him better than me. He will tell you that straight up. He knows my job is to make him better than me. Not make him just a good person. Better than I could ever be. It's my job. So, anyway, a lot of my stories end up... Don't you tag me. Don't you get me. A lot of my Yay! So a lot of my stories, and oh, I said I was gonna say hi to people, and I see people saying bye already. Oh, you've been sick. I'm so sorry. Thank you for being here. And shirt still it hurts. Hello, joy to the world. Hi there, Davika. Hi, Tess. What's going on? But I'm gonna run through a few more shields of sayings highs. I'm sorry if I'm not saying it because I'm having to pause the game to. I can't tell stories, read names, and play the game. That's multi-talented. White Shade, what's up? Nisimono. Chad, I said hi, Chad, right? I said hi. I totally said hi. Did I say hi? Hi. What's going on? The wipeout. Wow, you guys have been having some conversation. Ellie, what's going on? And Pockets. And I say hi because, you know, if you see a shield, they're actively supporting my channel every single month to make sure that I can sit down here and tell you boring ass stories about life. Like, yay! And Pete, what's going on? It's all right. I haven't been streaming as regularly lately anyway. So yeah, people actively support my dumb stories. Yay. You know, a lot of my stories come back to Rowan because I've got to teach him. And so something can happen to me and then I got to sit down and immediately think, is this a life lesson time? Is this a time where something just happened with me? Is this a time where he can see? Because yesterday when I pushed that car, like, you could actively see where my shoulders were really red from having done that. And I was aching, and he was wondering what's going on. And I was like, you know what? It hurt to help. And I didn't feel like doing it. And that's why I gave him a speech pretty much about... And it's never quite a speech. I try to make it as much two-sided as possible as him asking and talking with me so it can be a fluid conversation. Because if it's a fluid conversation, you know he's actually paying attention. If it's a speech, he can tune out whenever. You know, I let him see that, you know, I'm sore as hell and hurting. But that he needed to know. We had another conversation. He wants to get into a sport of some kind that's, he's talked about boxing, because he knows that back in the day, that's one of the things that I've put under my belt before. I've put boxing under my belt at some point. And whoops, go this way. And so he wants to go and learn about it. And I've had to talk about MMA. He saw an MMA fight, and I didn't want him to see that. But I was like, well, that's getting closer to the type of fights that I don't want you to necessarily see yet, because it's hard to explain what just seems like senseless brutality. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Hold on. That police officer comes out. If you shoot the one on the ground, shit. So I need to go by them and then kneecap them after. Shit, so no zombies are gonna die. Oh, wait, does he... Doesn't fucking matter. We're gonna try this a different way. Pretty much kneecaps for everyone. We just gotta get through this one part twice. Gotta do it once. Gotta round back out with the valve. Everyone, I just need to get by. Just gotta get by them. So... Let's try that instead. I'm just going to get by everyone. If they're not up and attacking me, I don't know. I don't know all their placements if you don't kill them. Because if anyone's actually watched me before, I always kill these guys. So I'm learning something here new. Bear with me. Yeah, I put it as practice in there. So we talked about physical contact sports, and boxing is something. Because I told him that a lot of the fundamentals of boxing never talk about throwing a punch at somebody else. But I told him, he's getting to be big and strong. He's already taller than just about any 6-year-old you're gonna find. And so the idea of teaching my son a sport where you can fight scares me a little.
I hope you made it.
Even if he's really interested in it, and even if it can teach him practice, discipline, seeing him reaping the reward, being able to take a video of him starting and then seeing how he can progress, see how he does with his form and physique and all these other things that, you know, go into it, the mental preparation that it takes into any sport, and even if it's boxing, because before you ever start sparring with somebody else, you've spent days, weeks, months, possibly years practicing on bags, practicing in a ring with a coach that's just pretty much holding their hands out with paddles and teaching you what it's like to strike, duck, maneuver. Like, just, it's not all just about throwing the punch. It's that you don't want to get hit either. So there's a lot of building, a lot of things that can go into it. But I told him, if you learn how to fight, we really got to make sure you know when to fight, because that's not something you can joke around about. And he said, well, never. You just don't fight. And I said, if you know that you can do something like that, it gets hard to not do it. Most people don't fight because they fear losing. That's just the honest thing. When somebody is literally at the point where they feel like they could throw a punch, they don't do that because there is a fear of losing. And it's sad that that is the truth, but that is human nature. There's some people who really don't want to fight, and they're good people. They're good people who want to throw a punch. There are good people who want to do a lot of things, and they still end up making a bad choice. And I said, once you learn how to fight, and somebody's doing something that you feel could be resolved with your fist, do you think it's going to be a lot harder to sit there and not do that? Said that's going to be one of the hardest things you'll ever face if you have the actual confidence to fight somebody, because you learn a sport like that. And I said, before you ever start doing something like that, we've got to talk a lot. We got to talk a lot about the reasons why you would ever fight. And I said, for every time you spend in the ring, we need to spend a little bit more time on your linguistic skills. Yes, my son knows the meaning of that word. We need to spend a little bit more time on your problem solving. We need to spend a little bit more time on how you think outside the box to make somebody feel more comfortable, so maybe you diffuse it. We need to spend time on that, because that's what you're going to use. You're going to live like a pacifist and train like a warrior if you do something like that. That's how you're going to live if you decide to take up a sport that uses your fists and uses your strength to overpower someone else. You're going to live like a pacifist and train like a warrior, because you need to bring out every single bit of strength you've got to not throw that punch, so that if you have to fight, So that if there's one time that you've got to throw that punch, you have to fight. You'll sit there and you'll feel upset. Cry if you have to. You did something. You hurt somebody. It should make you upset inside. You should never be able to hurt another human being and not feel some... It doesn't matter how bad they are. You had to hurt someone else. They were bad for making you hurt them. But then you need to be able to realize that you can go about it with a clear conscience, that you can start taking deep breaths, that you can start realizing you don't have to live with that weight on your shoulders because you tried talking to them. You tried pulling people apart that might have been fighting. You tried diffusing it. You tried using your words. You tried using actions. You tried everything else. And you only fought when you knew that if you didn't take action right now, people were going to get hurt. You were going to get hurt badly. Other people that you cared about were going to get hurt. And that if you waited a second longer trying to use your words, trying to use anything else, it wasn't going to work out. So for as long as you're in the ring training, you're going to be with me talking about when it's appropriate to ever do that. I'm not ever going to let you leave one of those things thinking that we don't have to rehash that conversation, because I don't care who picks on you. I don't care whoever says anything to you. If I ever hear that you decided to use your fist before you use your words, you're going to hate your home life for at least a month. I'll turn this into like a jail here.
Is anybody here?
Take the door off. Well, actually, my mom turned my house into a jail once to show us, you know, how serious actions could be. Locked us in a room, 30 minutes for breakfast, 30 minutes for lunch, an hour for dinner. If we wanted to use the real bathroom, we had to use it then. Otherwise, we had to use the makeshift bathroom she set up in the bedroom. It was a small-ass bedroom. That's a whole story behind that, but my mom was really serious on trying to teach. Like, you know, we lived in a bad neighborhood. She never wanted us to become one of those bad kids, so she tried to teach us, even at a really young age, what it was like to make a mistake that could get you somewhere like jail. And she's like, you didn't like it, you shouldn't do it. She did that for a week. I don't know, it's something that I'm struggling with myself right now. Even as many times as I'm using words, it's hard to imagine that my son's getting big and strong, and I don't want him to get big and strong and then feel like that strength is an asset to use to get himself out of anything, when he's also incredibly smart. He's got a better asset to get him out of trouble, his brain. And not everyone's got that. So, I mean, there's a part of me that thinks he's more well-suited to do something like a physical contact sport, because I can talk to him about these things and he'll begin to understand the gravity of what he's doing, and it can be fun and it can be a sport and you can spar. But there's even going to be a day when we talk about sparring and he's got to raise his fist at somebody. Maybe he's been in the gym with him, another kid, another something else, or he's literally got to throw a punch that can hurt somebody else in the sport he's trying to do, and he's got to be okay with that too. And so there's a lot of steps that go through some of that, and I always fear that parents forget those steps, as if those steps don't matter as much somehow because, you know, of the principles that the sport would teach, right? Come on, drop. There you go. The sport teaches a lot of principles, but it doesn't, you know, what, you know, I'm looking for people to reinforce what I teach at home. So if they're teaching principles of when to fight, the first time he hears it shouldn't be at a class for boxing, karate, whatever the physical contact sport is. It shouldn't be there. It should be home. He should be hearing it from me. And I've never been under the impression of, like, you know, I ride that fence all the time where some parents hear part of my thoughts on that and they're thinking, you're going to raise your boy to be a wuss. And then some people hear the other part of it where they realize I'm telling my son that by his age, I had been beaten senseless and left behind a bush because, what, my skin color? He didn't hear the skin color part. I just told him that people, for no good reason. But yeah, by 6 years old, I'd been beaten senseless and left behind a bush, so hopefully no one would find me by the time they all could get away. And that was part of my reality. By his age, I had given myself my first stitches. My brother talked me through so we could hide it from my mom so she didn't have to feel bad that we lived in an area that got us our asses kicked. like, by his age, there are things that I shouldn't have gone through, and I never want him to go through. And I'm trying my best to... Uh-oh, wait a second. She's got to die. She's not one I can just cap. Come on. But, you know... There's a lot of lessons in there that are just hard to come about. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm trying to make him a wuss to say that it's okay for him for there to be two ideas of having to protect someone. Like if he ever had to use what he learns and hurt someone else to protect. And I said if he protects himself, he better already have tried every other version or known that like running away was going to get him hurt more. He's never to use his fist or something like that. But it's like that fine line of like, you know, I mean, parents give me weird looks sometimes for better reasons. I had one parent give me a weird look and then run into a pole. Anyone remember that I gave my son already a part of his sex ed talk where he didn't understand how he was half me? So I started telling him, no, like there's an egg that's already in mommy and there's sperm in daddy. And it's the daddy that puts the sperm in the mommy, and that's what makes the child that starts growing. Without the daddy's half, the sperm, mommy's half, the egg can never grow. So I've got to put that in mommy. And that's pretty much how I told him. I have to put that in mommy for it to work. He's like, where did it come from? I was like, your penis. It does more than just pee. It can actually, it's where the sperm comes out of. And he said, oh, okay. That was pretty much the extent of our conversation. Literally, that's my sex ed for... Because now that I'm talking about him, this kind of stuff when he's 6 years old, like when he, you know, when this gets to be more and more prevalent, he's just got to remember, yeah, dad talks about this shit every now and then. I don't know. You know, it's not going to be weird for him because I'm just growing up saying this stuff offhandedly. Forget every now and then that would weird out people listening to it because I'm saying it offhandedly. We're leaving Six Flags and there's somebody walking next to us that I realize is kind of staring at me while I'm talking to Rowan about this. And as he's staring at me as I'm talking to Rowan, he accidentally hit a pole. Like there's a pole near a trash can. He had been staring too long and he totally face planted the thing. It was pretty hilarious. Is pretty funny. Oh God, no! Marvin! This was gonna be possibly a savable run. Oh well. That's good enough for me to get out of the RPD if I heal up. So I'm gonna read you guys talking here in a second more, but you know, I have conversations with Rowan that I realize that I've just got to be blunt with him. Any other way and he's just not going to accept it because one, he might think it's a lie, and second, he might just look for the answer somewhere else. And he already at this age, I mean, it's scary to think at 6 years old, he has access to enough technology at school, at home, no matter where he is. I can't watch him all the time, and sometimes I don't have him. And so I can't predict what he's going to watch when he's not with me. So it's one of those things that it's just, you know, I've got to prepare him as much as I can with the time I've got with him. And it's, you know, I talk about it nonchalantly because it is a nonchalant thing. Sex ed should not be something that is big and bad and whatever. He's hearing me use the correct terminology and bring up the terms that are most important to him, to the questions that he has. He doesn't know how he's half me because he doesn't know how he would be half me if he came out of mommy. Addressed, taken care of, situation taken care of right there. We talked about it. Done. She has to go because of the tyrant running me around. I don't want to meet her in the hallway. So, you know, there's a lot that goes. Is Siri really fucking listening to all of that? She was. Siri was listening to all of that. I'm screenshotting this. She caught almost everything I was saying and was just keeping a running dialogue and then just tried to search the web for it. And what did Siri search the web for? She found apparently is there Is there our use of the correct terminology and bringing up the terms that are most important to him? The questions that he has, he doesn't know he has. He's half me because he doesn't know how I would be happy if you came across the address taken, care of situation, care of right. Where there we talked about it, done, and she had to go because of the time it running me around. I don't want to meet her in the hallway. So that's what Siri said. Search the internet. First thing, Bob Dylan. Apparently Bob Dylan should help with that little rant. Thank you, Bob Dylan. Didn't know you were helping with rants about sex ed and dealing with zombies in a hallway, but I will listen to the Dylan a little bit later. What the fuck, Siri? All right. I guess the end of that little tangent that I've been on, the real end to that is of that particular segment of the tangent is I talked to Rowan about a lot of things that maybe other parents, even my ex, really hates how frank I am with him. She really does. But I have no other idea how to talk with him and deal with that when he actively says things like people don't listen to him enough. And then I ask him who the people are, and of course you can guess one of the two names he mentions the most. And you know, this is just I'm on limited options for how to help him properly all the time. No, it's just an interesting situation, I guess, being in and trying to... Of course. Are both of them gonna come through? I forgot about this little doodad. Alright. Where's the other one? Oh, God. She resets to right there. Not good. Cool. Alright, I'm learning reset points for them, by the way, because I left once. What? Whoa! Whoa! There were two! There were two! What? 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 They both reset to being up there. Crap. How could I deal with that? I could give up a flash. You know, if there is a clusterfuck of 3 of them up there, the flashes are going to be, like, hella useful for G2. I'm going to have to flash him even when I don't want to, just to put him down so he doesn't hurt me. Shit. But, I mean, I can't use them to counterattack. I've got very limited uses for the flashes. I'm going to get gangbanged up there. Let's do one more time through here because again, practice, read the title. I said I was practicing for possibly doing this as a real run tomorrow because I've really got to think about how to do it in the fewest steps possible. And okay, so the challenge that I'm trying to do, I'm combining 2 challenges again. Less than 10,000 steps and the other challenge of less than 10,000 steps. Less than 10,000 steps. Can't get attacked more than 5 times. Can't counterattack. Can't take damage more than 5 times. Can't counterattack more than 3 times. Must be on hardcore. That's not even my standard at that point. So I'm trying to think of ways to get through this easily. See, there's the challenge right there. So I'm trying to think of ways to get through this easily. I'm starting to have to think that, man, these are strategies I would use if I was trying to be a speedrunner, which I ain't. Let me say hi to a few more people. Hey, Pete, what's going on? Did I say hi? I hope I did. Maybe if I didn't. But hi. I've done 10,000 before. I beat it with... the first time I tried it, I did 10,006 steps. I was 6 steps over. The second time, I lost. The third time, I lost. The fourth time, after I finally got there, I think I beat it with 9,996, something like that. So I've done the steps before. I don't think I've done the steps and tried not to take damage because my goal when I did the 10,000 was being okay with taking damage standing my ground against a few of the enemies and just popping health items so that I wouldn't have to do the runaround for some of them. That's not an option now, so I'm having to renegotiate how I'm supposed to get through this game a little bit. So that's kind of why you guys are seeing me for once practicing. Plus, I'm fucking tired. So it's just a small like. But Jimbo, hi there, and Zachariah. What's going on? What's going on, guys? I'm sorry if I'm skipping over some things. I'm just trying to keep up with a few things going on. So let's just try this again. Let's try it again. Learning. I'm not taking notes tonight. I'm just trying to learn good enough for tomorrow, and then I can forget all of it. I probably should take notes. I've got my own video. I'll just check out my own video and take notes off of that. Why not? If I really need to remember this again for something else.
I'm getting a noise complaint, but you know what? I don't even care because this is my art. And no.
Oh gosh.
Hello Darkness, my old friend. Failure is our greatest teacher. Now where are those B scenario guides?
Well, thank you. I have failure is a good teacher. B scenario guides. I hate having to say they're coming. If you guys want to see a reason why they got held up and some of what I was fighting with YouTube about, Matt Pat covers some of it over on Game Theory, where he says YouTube is killing game or something like that. He made a recent video about it. I didn't realize the problems I was having with gaming videos were that profound with other people. But long story short, the gaming industry on YouTube is a bit complicated and a bit hard to navigate. And part of the reason I wasn't releasing it was because I was trying to do it in tandem with other things. And then YouTube started putting the hammer to some stuff. There are some copyright laws we're all running into. There's some things with monetization. There's some things with really the future. And just to make it really, really brief on what's happening. Basically, creators that you think of like, oh, I subscribe to them. Why don't they ever do that anymore? And the first two names that always come up in that conversation, the biggest one is PewDiePie, what Felix says lately. And then the next one after that usually ends up being Markiplier now. That people signed up for games and they're doing these skits and other things and they do this random shit.
I'm getting a noise complaint, but you know what? I don't even care because this is my art. And no, fuck!
Here a little something for the king of girl scream. I had to stop to give cheers for the best of the best. Keep being awesome.
Well, thank you, Daniel. Everyone hashtag Daniel. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate. Okay, I'm gonna continue while I'm also talking, but thank you so much. Basically, all the YouTubers that you subscribed for forever for something like gaming, and then you're like, what are they doing all this other stuff? They're the ones that are safe right now. That all that other stuff they were doing was the absolute right move. Because the future of just about all YouTubers on here, without the support of people that'll do like my shields that you see showing up, and without the support of Patreon, if they don't have a big enough support base, they're gonna probably see a new wave of something that is almost as bad as the adpocalypse coming. If not, if they haven't started seeing the effects now, they're probably gonna see it soon. So there's a lot of politics going behind the fact that my channel pretty much had to come to a standstill while I tried to understand what YouTube is doing. And it's a long thing to understand because when you feel like you get a grasp on what they're trying to do and you try to conform what you're doing to it. For example, there's a Last of Us video that you guys haven't seen.
Exactly how
I've made another video about The Last of Us. I have not dropped that, and actually, I've got a few things coming up to do with it. 2 videos directly on The Last of Us, and one that brings The Last of Us into a conversation that's a little bigger than that. In particular, bringing out Ellie's character and talking about her in a bigger light. Why haven't I been able to even get to those things? Because of the content that has to do with gaming in it. It's now getting to be this climate that's really hard to understand, and honestly lately with where my priorities have been stacking, it's kind of like one of those things where I go, all right, am I literally gonna put hours and hours of work into this only to find out that I didn't understand what YouTube is asking and none of it You know, the biggest fear of any creator is pretty much not understanding what they're doing, getting that one video that starts getting them recognition and whatnot, or, you know, videos that finally are meant to help their income or are meant for good entertainment, and they think they're doing the right thing, only to learn that they did the absolute wrong thing. That's very demoralizing when you wake up and you, like, you know, over the past week, I have gotten more than 20 notices of my videos being demonetized. Of videos that actually are people watch in my back catalog and make quite a bit of my paycheck from YouTube, that piddly little paycheck, and make quite a bit of it, and they've been demonetized because of issues like this. So there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes with YouTube that people are jumping on. People are trying to take advantage of the creators at the moment, and it is kind of paralyzing trying to decide if you should put hard work into something that you know, remember at the end of the day that some of the times when that hard work is done, you want to do it out of the goodness of your heart. You want to continue doing things out of the goodness of your heart, because the things that you're doing out of the goodness of your heart also end up paying your bills. When you break that cycle of not being able to pay your bills anymore, like, you want to still do all those other things. You want to still have fun with the community and talking to the community and do all these others. But then you go, oh, my son still needs the water turned on and the electric bill paid. That's like big tenets of being a parent. You're supposed to do that. And so it kind of turns into one of these things of, like, your hands are tied. And I know people are powering through it and doing what they can. If they have to switch later, that's fine. I've never liked that approach. I've never liked the approach of not understanding the climate I'm in and then just crossing my fingers and hoping for the best. Never liked going about things that way. So
What in the...
Anyway, the last thing I was talking about was me talking to my son about, you know, I talked to my son very frankly and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I want him to realize that, you know, if he ever has to hurt somebody because he can, it should be a last resort. And that he should be upset about, you know, he knows that I hunt sometimes. And most of the time that I've ever gone hunting is because bills have gotten tight, and honestly, it saves money if you know what you're doing and you're not just doing it for sport. Because, I mean, I'm going to need meat for the hamburger helper anyway. Why not be venison sometimes every now and then? And what's the big difference? Because I had to... Oh, fuck the board! Shit. I'll use that board on this window. And... Okay, wait. I'm gonna get fucked up later. I'm just gonna have to deal with that. This is a practice run. Fuck it. I'll use that board on the window at the very end. Can't talk so much that happens. I can't believe I did that. So it's been one of those things where you're just trying to figure out what's going on with you. Going on with the situation of pretty much your work environment, and it's just not coming up very easily. There's a lot of things going on. So, I mean, that's a really long answer to a short question, isn't it? I've said it before, but Rowan sassed me many times about the way that my explanations can seem to tangent off to a few different things. How did he sass me? I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget later. But some kind of sass about the fact that he's like, he was asking what something meant, and I was trying to explain it, and he was like that. He said something like, "Wow, Dad, that's a lot of sentences for just one word." I'm like, what? Your sass is off the charts. All over. Here's one lately. I found out that like he's at level K reading. Does that mean anything to most people? No, sure as hell doesn't. Level K pretty much means that he can read pretty solidly. Even if he comes across words he doesn't understand, he can sound them out, and usually he's using context clues already to figure out a lot of them. What it doesn't mean is that level K, getting past that means you have to really understand what you're reading. You have to read it and really get what you're reading. And so I know that's like, we're talking about a level K standard. If anyone knows the standards, especially for Georgia, state of Georgia in the U.S., for standards like that, we're talking about a standard that is in 2nd grade, and he's going to be going into 1st grade when the fall comes along. So I know, but that's where he's reading, so that's where I'm teaching him at. He's reading just about a year and a half above his level. And so he's been having trouble finding stories that he wants to really read and get involved with. And as I'm trying to figure that as I'm trying to figure that problem out of him getting really involved in stories, I noticed something else. He gets really into lyrics. So the song The Pretender from Foo Fighters, we had a long conversation already about that one, about just some of the lyrics. What if I say I'm not like the others? What if I say I'm not just another one of your plays? You're the pretender. What if I say I will never surrender? That little bit of lines right there. I should know these off the top of my head. I'm talking so I forget them over and over. So I realized just a few days ago that my son is actually really picking up on lyrics. Well, who the hell said you can't read lyrics? There's no rule against that, right? If reading lyrics is where he wants to go, and his problem is interpretation of the words, context, why not just read songs that he'll listen to and then say, okay, now let's look at the lyrics of the song. What do you think he means by this? And then putting it all together and being like, what does the song mean as a whole? I've got a new way to finally get my son into reading, which is music. Taking songs and just talking about what they mean and then listening to the song so he understands what he's hearing. And it's good because it's up to interpretation with a lot of lyrics, so he can kind of get things wrong, and I can say, well, you're on the right track, and maybe they did mean that. I think something you might be forgetting, or something that you might want to consider, you know. So that's like, it's like exciting to me to know that I've got a new way to connect with my son for something that he needs to work on, and exciting to know that he's actually on board with that. It's pretty cool. So I'm gonna be hopping on that, but he's been listening to so many things that, like, he's been picking up if things are sad, this and the other. Where was but other than the triumph of learning that he can listen to song lyrics and start understanding and getting like meaning and whatnot out of it, I don't know, it's life on my end has been weird. So other than being a parent, we're gonna have another chill session. Everyone watching right now, there's gonna be more chill sessions where we just talk about life, and I think we're gonna do it over the game Final Fantasy XIV. So I'm still within the trial period of that game. That game, I don't know how I got 60 days of a trial for leveling up as far as you want to go, but I have 60 days, and I found out that I found out she had to no I just said I figured out that she needed to be killed, and then I hesitated on killing her. Oh no, what am I doing? I did a bad. Why did I hesitate? I thought about kneecapping her and I hesitated because of it. Though, you know what? If I'm going the kneecap route, I can probably kill all these guys. Hold on. I'm just realizing how much ammunition I've got left. I'm gonna go a new route here for a second. One more time around the merry-go-round. Maybe these guys can just die. And let's show that my aim is horrible. Cool. That's cool. Everyone came here to make sure that I have horrible aim. No, sit down. Sit down. Sit down. No, stop it. Stop it. This is what everyone talks about. It took so many rounds to take someone down. I'm seeing how many rounds I can waste here and still get through the other part. Can these guys die and I still run the rest of this place like normal? So those guys, can they just straight up die? I'm looking over there. Myself personally, I'm learning a lot of things. So, by the way, if anyone ever is not used to the fact that I'm ridiculously blunt on this channel, I'll talk about just about anything going on in my life, and it was, I don't know, it doesn't bother me. I know it bothers some other people, so this is your only warning that I'm about to bring up my own depression and anxiety. If that's a subject that bothers you, then I'm sorry. Marvin, come on. I have been medicated with one way or the other since I was like in my teens. And there's a therapist I just called Dr. G. I guess it's all right to call him Dr. G here if, you know, it's not his full name. It's just because the rest of his name is hard for some people to pronounce, so he gets used to Dr. G. Oh God! Oh, suck it long and hard. It's long and hard. I told you I'm not used to where they reset if I don't kill them. I gotta come back through here a second time. I didn't know he could actually just be right there. Again, I don't kill these guys usually, so I don't know. I mean, I've had my own ups and downs, and you know, when I was really young, it was really hard. And for those that are going through hard times, if you're younger, just remember this very important fact: your brain doesn't even get the part that really helps you to get through a lot of this shit until you're in your early 20s. For girls, it's about 20 to 23. For guys, it's like up towards as high as 25. Like you don't even get all the tools you need to fight all the dumb shit happening in your head. It's a pain in the ass, but it's just the truth. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, I said I was gonna use the flash in here. Why do I only have one flash? Because I used one on somebody else. Wait, is that too early? No, they're all flashed. It's not a guarantee reset up there? That's a pain in the ass. I'm just not used to leaving them alive. But the fewer times I use ammo, the less I have to backtrack, and I'm trying to mentally map out where I need to go and not ever have to touch the boxes. And so far, I'm doing pretty well with trying to make a mental map that involves never touchy-touchy. I think I'm doing all right for never really trying to run it like this before. Okay, I'm lying. I tried to run it like this when I was first figuring shit out. I tried to do runs that were more akin to what you would think of maybe a speedrunner, and it just wasn't me. Like I was coming up with tricks, and I was finding out, yeah, I have quick enough reflexes to do all this shit, and then I was like, this feels like work. Like having enough reflexes to like be like, ah, blah, 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 and then you shoot something, and it's like that feels an awful lot like work. But depression on and off and anxiety on and off, and it's just been one of those like uphill battle type things that you feel like things are getting better, and then they're just not. Oh shit. And that fucking counts. That counts as damage. You can't screw around with that if you try to run for it. You gotta do it. Shit. I would usually have 2 flashes by now, and I only need 1 to beat Birkin downstairs. So using up 1... Wait. I would have 2 flashes left. I could use 1 on the tyrant like I usually... Oh, I could just go back in the room. Why didn't I go back in the room? So he walked the other way. I'm so dumb! Why am I so dumb? One more time. One more time. Kill the guys in the hallway. Okay. If I'm flashing all those assholes, kill the guys in the main lobby area. Just kill them. Kill them all. Don't get the sitting down guy. Move the bookcases. Kill the woman standing up. Don't kill it. Don't kill... Oh, God. Okay. I'm having a better time of, like, the list of who do I kill rather than... Yeah. So... Depression and all that, dealing with that for a long time. It's been an uphill battle. I mean, and I haven't always been on like the winning side of that battle. I felt like I've lost a lot, where I feel like I've just failed. But with that said, through the struggles of getting myself feeling more right and level-headed and all these other things and growing up, I realized that I had pretty much been on some kind of medication for almost 20 years now. Almost 20 years of, instead of ever completely switching off medications, bouncing from one or lower doses, but there's always been something. And so I've had financial issues. Doesn't everybody? But, you know, between my dog being hurt, stuff going on with my son, stuff going on with me having to go, you know, to doctors and stuff, my car breaking down, you know, all the normal things in life, but it's just kind of piling up right now. The doctor part, I skipped out on the doctor for a long time because I spent all my money on a minute clinic. I went to one because my head was just killing me. And so I was like, yeah, I should be fine. They gave me amoxicillin, it didn't do shit. It's fine. So I finally decided to break down and go to the doctor because it was getting in the way of everything. But in the meantime, apparently I haven't been to my primary doctor in 10 months. Woo! Whoops. Didn't know it had actually been that long. In that amount of time, over the past 2 months, I have actually gotten off of everything that I used to take. So, Wellbutrin, which is commonly prescribed for depression and anxiety, and it's got some good qualities about it, because of it being instead of being an SSRI, it's an SNRI. So it's got some really good qualities about it that help out, especially with anxiety. But my doctor had already pretty much gotten me down on not many medications at all, you know, thinking that somebody that's been struggling with anxiety and depression for a long time, being on something for anxiety and depression, Wellbutrin, something because acute anxiety is a real bitch, and I refuse to take things like, things that are too fast acting, so just get a lot of the fast acting benzos out of the way. So I was on Klonopin for a while, and then I switched to Valium when needed. And then Doxepin for sleeping. So, yay, I don't care if I said it all. I got off of all of it. So nothing to help me get to sleep, and I am a very much diagnosed insomniac. Nothing to help with anxiety, and that shit goes through the roof constantly. And they help with a lot of things. I found out I have phobias that I never knew I had before. I have very, like, strong... I never knew what really caused all of my anxiety, but when I went off for medication, I'll tell you, I now know what it is. It's not just some ambiguous... Oh, God, it just feels bad today. I don't know. Just everything just kind of is getting to me more, and now I'm like, it's that! It's that! Like, I know exactly what's actually getting to me because I wasn't on anything to help with it, so it's, like, really fucking obvious when it's something coming up. One of the things, I never knew that my phone would be one of them. Like, it makes sense. A lot of things have happened in my life where it's just like, you know, if it feels like the phone was like where the world centered around, like all the bad news or all the bad things coming up. I wouldn't have ever guessed, though, that it was like a full-blown, that every single time I look at my fucking phone, my blood pressure goes up, my heart rate goes up. Like everything, everything gets bad when I just look at the damn phone. And it's got a bunch of things coming. But now I know, like, at least, like, no, it's not like I'm in an uncomfortable situation or this, that, and the other. It's my phone rang. My phone rang, and I immediately went, like, that. Never would have even known that was like I hated my phone for a long time. Never would have known that I actually have a really big problem with anxiety all surrounding my phone. Who would have known? But on that note, I'm back at a lot of things because I'll be back at a lot of things that usually would cause a lot of anxiety. I can get over it. I finally, like, my counselor was like, experiment's over. Or my therapist, he's like, experiment's over. You can, I think when you go back to your doctor, you can totally talk about going back on medication. You proved a point. I was like, I didn't try to prove a point. He's like, well, you proved it anyway. Like, basically what it comes down to is, I just don't have a brain that's meant for secular bullshit. Or, like, maybe that's the wrong way to put it, because that makes it sound like it's more of a, like a, I don't have a brain that's meant for not life and death decisions. I don't. I really, like, my brain really is more, like, geared toward the idea that, like, the decision I'm making saves lives or gets people killed. That, I mean, it's bad to say it, but when I was younger, I always thought I was made for chaos. That's what I put it to, and I never knew how to explain it to people. But it really does boil down to that. Like, things weigh on my shoulders enough, and that weight is there whether it's a big decision or a small one. But on big decisions, I can carry it. On small things, I don't know what the fuck to do with it, because it's just like, why does this thing matter so much to everyone else when it's just like, this is part of life? This is part of living in a first world country. You just deal with it. But everyone makes it into something big, and I can't ever wrap my head around, like this is such a big deal to everyone else, and it puts a lot of stress. And it's like, it's a lot of, it sounds so fucking backwards. You think, isn't it a lot of stress to think, yeah, it is a fuck ton of stress to think a decision you're making is gonna get someone killed. And I've had to make decisions like that before. They're not fun. They live with you. They haunt your dreams. They do a lot of fucked up things to you. You know what I dream more about than decisions I've made that have, like, saved or cost lives? Bullshit that's like, you know what? I could solve that tomorrow. That I just had a dream about some bullshit that literally affects nobody ever, I don't think, really, in a really important thing, or it's just something everyone goes through. It's middle class America is what people go through. I'm sure it could wait until the morning. No, I had a fucking nightmare about the thing, and then an anxiety attack, and I have no idea why. So basically, I'm medicated because if I'm not in a war zone, my brain is just flipping the fuck out on, like, what does it do? So at least I've learned kind of that kind of thing. With that said, I never knew, like, and this really took a long talk with, I have, Dr. G, my therapist, God bless, he is one of the only people that'll look at me and say, Steven, that's bullshit, and he has a PhD. How many fucking people say, you have to say doctor before their name, and they look at you, and then, how many times do you go to the doctor, you're like, I have a cough, and, like, my throat hurts, and I don't know, I'm not feeling my best, and the doctor looks at you, and you're like, that's bullshit. Like, I wasn't feeling well when I came in here. You want to start calling bullshit on what's going on with my life? Really? No, but, like, he's, like, one of the only people I, like, go to sit down. I'm like, I'm just trying to go through things. He's like, you know what? You're spouting a lot of bullshit. You want to start talking about the real issues? I'm like, okay, I guess it's not real enough for you. But he calls me out on a lot of things, and what I've really found out, I really need to stop caring about what people are prioritizing as their big thing unless I directly affect their big priorities. That's hard for me to do. I care about what people are going through, even if they're hurting, but then I sit there and realize your problems really don't amount to much, and I'm, you know. So I'm having a big having a huge problem with that. But again, between that and phones, golden somewhere in the middle of that. I should be golden somewhere in the middle of that.
Just
At least I know the things I have to work on now, you know? It's a good experiment of knowing what it's like not to be on medication after about 20 years of having some kind of SSRI, SNRI, some kind of anti-anxiety, some kind of all these other things. After so many years of being like that, it's nice to know what I'm like that. And it's like, what am I like that? Where's the meme about crippling depression? That's where I am without all that. So I'm gonna just, I was at the doctor earlier today. I'm back on a lot of that stuff. By a lot of that stuff, I literally mean I picked up the Wellbutrin, a smaller, half the dose I used to be on, and a third of the dose of the Valium, and I'm starting off small. Hopefully I can just solve things with a little help. Basically, it means this. If I stop taking my medicine and the world starts coming to an end, I know where I belong. Or if, like, there's gonna be a draft and they decide to ship my ass somewhere, like, just take me off medications and I'm fine. And, like, my brain works perfectly for that. For everything else, I guess that's just, I can't deal with petty bullshit. That's what it is! It's petty bullshit! I can't deal with the petty I have to be medicated to deal with everyday petty bullshit. That is what it is! That's what it comes down to. I'm medicated to deal with petty bullshit. Oh. That's a sad reality, isn't it? Yeah, it is what it is. But I have more random times where I talk and just talk with you guys. Pay attention to when I do streams for Final Fantasy 7. I brought that up a second ago. What's going on with that is that I used to play Final Fantasy 11. I'm gonna critique the hell out of Final Fantasy 14. I'm gonna play Final Fantasy 7 when it comes out. I'm gonna critique the hell out of Final Fantasy 14. It's been too easy just picking it up every now and then playing. I'm already way too high. And then you can buy levels in that game. Like, I'm pissed about that. There doesn't seem to be any challenge inherently inside of it. With that said, I'm a spinny little bitch. Paladins were just overhauled. Of course I want to be a class that protects other people. I don't know what it is, but it's the class I play best. Any class that involves me, my job is to make sure everybody else is surviving, and it's not having to make sure everyone else is getting healed, because fuck being a healer. I don't want to do that. But yeah, when I play that game, since they made it kind of fun for me to be a spinny little bitch. Literally, what you need to do in that now to be a tank for a lot of mobs is put on Iron Oath or whatever it's Iron Will, and spin like a fucking ballerina. That is your job in the game now. Be a ballerina. And I'll be a ballerina. It's fine. I have fun being a ballerina. I just spin around like a little spinny bitch. Like, it's fun. I giggle when I do it too sometimes because I'm like, yeah. Like, people are like, oh, you did a good job. Like, they say something and they give me player commendations and all that. And I'm like, I literally sat there and I spun in circles this whole time. I was just spinning in circles. I was a giggly little bitch spinning in circles and you're giving me props. Cool. I guess that's cool, but you should really know that. You should know the guy on the other side of this is being a spinny little bitch. Alright, we learned a lesson. He's not there? Cool. Alright, so apparently that one cop can just be where the fuck ever. So anyway, if I ever put that on, it's because literally I want to show you guys that it can be fun. The game can be fun. It can be feeling more like a solo game, so I guess it's one of the first Memorpagers that I could sit down and play and just have a bit of fun spacing out. And since it's, you know, the goals aren't so like focused that I can't speak, I can do a lot of things while talking to you guys during the story time. I'm not gonna move until he gets over here. I'm gonna run the other way. There we go. And then I gotta remember Flash. I don't know where the other guy is. Are you kidding? Oh! Oh, come on! It was almost perfect through the RPD. No! What? Oh! Oh! What? Almost. Almost. Oh! I'm glad this is not tonight's real run. Oh, God. That hurts me inside a bit. I just can't count. Why am I not? Quick turn. I don't know quite what I'm supposed to do. But you know what? I'll wing it. So most likely tomorrow I'll go ahead and actually do a stream of these challenges, a legit one, new thumbnail, new everything. And when I do that, we'll just, instead of me sitting here talking over and over, I'll just zip through the RPD as fast as I can. And if I get tagged by something dumb, then I'll restart it. And we'll just do it until I get a good solid one, getting down to the first time I save. Because remember, I only gotta do it solidly once until I get to the first save. Because, oh yeah, hardcore S+. I refuse to let the S+ go. We're gonna have to do it that way, so. Because you guys know me. If I'm gonna do a thing like that, I gotta stack all the challenges to make it. I gotta make the game interesting to me, continue to be interesting to me one way or the other, right? That door shut. So I hope you guys, we're getting towards the end of the stream. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I have to cut out early-ish. It feels like it's only gotta be about a 2-hour stream. The whole point of me saying medical stuff's coming up is one of the things I've been going through is that my jaw re-broke. Rather refractured in a very inconvenient spot. And because of that, I'm fighting a case of TMJ. So if you see me do weird things lately, the biggest thing is getting in the way of is eating, but I'm just going back to a liquid diet, so I don't have to worry about the pain of not being able to chew. Oh, he is not coming from that other side. I don't have to worry about the pain of not being able to chew. My teeth won't come together all the way right now. Hopefully the steroids I'm on will help. Come on, don't do this to me. No! Come on, dude! That's like the worst place you could be. No. I thought I was gonna get out of the RPD with only like one knock against me. No. Ah, shit. Ah, Ram Heartbird. Where's the Ram? Dadgummit. He'll appear right there every now and then if you duck in like that. Dadgummit. Shit. Which way is it coming from? Yay! The lucky side. That's as good as I can expect for any of that. That's as good as I'm gonna get. Alright, and go down this way. No Magnum. B run, no Magnum. That makes me feel weird. Once I'm done, well, I've been playing a few other games. I'm not all the way finished. I caught that comment off the corner of my eye. I'm not finished with. I don't know when I'd be finished, but I've been playing plenty of other things on the channel. And once I feel confident enough, which I might as well just. I've got work under my belt that I just need to show you guys. It's been there. It's uploaded. It's ready for you guys to see. I just need to put it out there. Once I just need to. There's plenty I've been playing. And there's plenty I would play. Before Resident Evil 2 was on the channel, remember, there's about 1,000 videos on the channel, and only about 100 or 200 might be live streams. The other 1,000 are static videos that I've made over time. this channel is quite full already with plenty of content, and I plan on adding to that big time. So, oh shit. I forgot the second knife. I either forgot the one in the wall. No, this one's partially used. I got the one in the wall and I forgot to pick the one upstairs. What is wrong with me? I know what's wrong with me. I'm just tired. Hey, gaming. I just started Hollow Knight, loving it so far. I'm thinking about doing that. I saw another shield is here, though. And Daniel, good night. Thank you for being here. Oh, shit. What am I going to do here? Usually I do this fight and save ammunition because of the way I run this. Might as well. I was even gonna not use the grenade and see how that worked. Now I'm having to actually use handgun ammo, but I can replenish some of that. I can't believe I did that. That's a dumb mistake for me. From the guy that freaking knives Birkin to death. From the guy who does that, Alright, I have to use a gun. Cool. And no grenade. I'm going to try to finish him off without the help of a grenade, which is not going to go well. I don't do very well when I do that. So everyone ready to watch me die? That's cool. It's cool. I think since it's winding down to the end of when I'll be for streaming tonight, then I've told enough stories tonight. Have you guys that have been listening in the background, have you heard enough stories? I hope you have. Just have life stories to pour out randomly. Just how my brain is working. It's less life stories and more that I'm just trying to be like, hey, this is how my brain works. How does yours?
No choice. Gotta take it down.
Oh, he grabbed me. I was actually hoping for not the grab. That's a counterattack. Shit, I hoped for the wrong thing. I hoped after that. I've lost this one. I've lost this one. I need to just go ahead and reload that. I can't believe I forgot the knife. Oh! Oh, my Lancer. How did I forget the knife? It's like the crux to the shit I do on here. By the way, I'm getting really tired of people commenting about that they can't do this fight because they're on a PS4 normal or an Xbox One, a vanilla Xbox or whatever. I tried these on a PS4 and Xbox and with my PC set to the maximum 30 frames per second. I know what it takes. It's a few extra swipes.
You know
That's
what?
all.
I don't even care because this is my art. And no, fuck!
Aww.
Additional late Father's Day payout late into the stream. My bank told me. Keep up your parenting. You will raise a wonderful son. Even with your doubts. Hope it helps, Daddy. Also, my name means faker or counterfeiter. Call me that for easier spelling.
Ooh, your name means faker or counterfeiter. Oh, that makes me scared immediately. Hey, you got a donation. Everyone, thanks. Hashtag Nishimono. By the way, his name means counterfeit. Like, can I cash this check? No, it's a fake one. But thank you so much. What was I saying really quick earlier? Oh yeah, people driving me nuts about this. Yes, he takes a few extra hits. Let's see if I can get him to do what I tell people who complain about it. Because I've done it before and I realized what it would take. But of course my guy didn't show it. But I thought I was showing... You know what? I did my hardest to show you guys in that guide everything I could think of that would help you like mold to what you're doing. I realized in the guides that I didn't explain that you can mix gunpowder in the RPD to make more handgun rounds in case you're running out of handgun rounds. Because you get like 5 powders, I think. You can mix those smaller ones together and get more rounds. Like, I didn't say that, and a lot of people were like, hey, what do you do? And I'm like, mix those rounds together. They're like, great, cool. I didn't realize I wasn't explaining well enough the swinging around. You just need to stay on his side and get him to do the swinging around motion big time. You got it. And I'm not perfect at it by far. Are you kidding? What did I just do? Well, that screws everything up because I had the wrong thing on. Oh, not everything. He was stunned for a little longer than he should have been. Is that enough to get him down? Nope. I'm fucked. I can't believe I don't have both knives. I don't know how to deal with my life without both knives. I don't know how to do this without both knives. No! Ah! Not without taking too many. Okay, I know how to do this without both knives. Remember, part of the challenge is 10,000 steps or less. I don't know how to do this taking very few steps without the knife. Like, I would have to start running him around. I have to start running him around without the second knife. There's just no... Oh, God. Oh. I'm running the RPD one more time for tonight, and then I'm checking out. I thought I was gonna check out after I try to beat him. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, for tomorrow's stream, I'll be perfect at the RPD trying to get this in. Oh boy. What is wrong with me? Ah, Lord Two Shanks. I see some talk of your worst part, blah blah blah. What's my favorite part of the game? I don't know, the whole thing. It's just kind of an experience. The RPD is hardest for me. My favorite part is it's just the hardest doesn't mean it's the worst part. I don't know. Last of Us 2, the maker of The Last of Us 2 says every time somebody asks when the release date of The Last of Us 2 is, he's pushing it back 5 minutes. The really funny thing is, if you look at every tweet he's ever released, there's thousands of people asking him the release date. So that time stacks up really fast. Apparently, we're never going to see it, if everyone... He was joking around about that. I see. Hi, Ethan. What's going on? I see from faces that have showed up. And Tess, hi. Did I say hi? I see faces that have been here a few times before. I'm sorry if I'm skipping over anyone. It's just usually shields. It's easy for me to point them out in the sea of people that are that talk and whatnot. It can get hard. Keep up with it all, and I apologize. I don't like being like that. Hi, Legendary, and I'm going back at it one more time. One more time. Oh boy, Resident Evil 2 is not my favorite game of all time by far. By far, it's not my favorite game of all time. It's a good game. In the horror genre, it's a really good game. Now, it's more action horror as comparison to the suspense that you feel maybe when we're talking about like Silent Hill psychological horror, a cultural more based horror would be like White Day is on this channel. Soma is like a big time psychological horror. There's not many things presented to you in the game that are just like, ah! But there's a lot of times where you're sitting there going like, where like, you know, a jump scare. I'm not going to have a nightmare about a jump scare of a zombie in this game. Did I have a fucking nightmare about Soma's choices that they forced you into and they forced you to like think about what the hell is doing? Like the moral consequences and like what's right, what's wrong. What's the meaning of like a human soul? What does it mean to have that? Can you replicate it? If it's replicated, can you kill it? Like, what's the idea of saving mankind? Is it saving our bodies? Or if you can make replications of us in some type of way, is that enough to sustain the idea of humanity for who the hell knows how long? I don't fucking know, but I know I had a lot of nightmares about that damn game. So anyway, like, this is I mean, in the category of horror that it's in, it's a really good game. In the category of horror in general, it's better than mediocre. In the category of games of all time, you know, it's doing well.
Not exact.
It's like if I made a top 100 list, it'd probably be in it. Top 100, yeah, that sounds about fair. I'm not saying where on that list it would be, but in a top 100 list, I'd totally put it on it, right? Right. One more time, and if is rain or shine, hell or high water, whatever happens here, especially if I get a good save out of this, it would be nice. Somewhere to, if I decide to try to practice the rest of it a little bit, before I do a legit we're gonna beat it stream. Because every now and then when I do legit let's beat it streams, they can go for hours. Anyone remember my trials with a knife? I think with all the live streams combined, just the two where I actually beat it, it's somewhere between 14 and 16 hours for me beating the game with knife only. But that's just the 2 videos of beating it. Me trying it and doing live streams of just trying to figure out techniques for doing knife only and beating this game. And by the way, I did knife only hardcore S+ beat this game. Just that was another dozen hours for me practicing so that maybe I could do it again. It was good. God. It was that was tough. I say that doing knife only. Anyway, this game's high up for me on there. I mean, out of modern games it's fun. But I do judge games not just on being modern games. There's a lot of games that I think are really fun that aren't even close to being like anytime recent. So, and I think there are a lot of games that aren't anytime recent that beat the crap out of this. But you know, a lot of the games that I think about, I guess, are a generational type thing that part of my childhood, and the way that I think and the way I learned to puzzle solve are all based on it. So I guess they have hold a higher weight and meaning. Shit. This one doesn't count. This one doesn't count. This one doesn't count. Hold on. This one doesn't count. I do one more real run where I don't accidentally skip over everything in that room, and because I skipped one of the things. I just realized. Anyone else notice what I did wrong there? I hope no one did. I realized what I did wrong. Just gonna pretend it never happened. It just never happened. Would anyone like it if on the Discord I just started posting things that make me laugh? One random thing that I probably found that made me laugh, and like one song that maybe not laugh, is just whatever song that's stuck in my head for the day. I don't know if anyone would like seeing more into my mind of like how things like that go, but there's enough of you that are listening to me, hearing me ramble as I play something like this. I don't know. I have
Claire,
Through Glass by
hope you made it.
Stone Sour is going in circles in my head right now, and there was something that I was watching before that was like that I'm seeing here and go, and yesterday was like All-Star, but set to that the macaroni murder. Anyone know what I'm talking about? Made it a whole lot harder. No. Not for what I'm trying to do with the challenges. The RPD can be quite easy. How I'm making it harder right now? You do not understand how close I keep cutting it with these fucking footsteps. These footsteps will get you. Hey Matthew, happy 4th of July. The footsteps will get you. I'm saving footsteps now because last time I had to do a challenge that had anything to do with footsteps, I thought I was really good. And I was so close. It was bad. You can't take a single misstep. Oh, on the knife only? Oh, screw it. I tried my best. Well, everyone that ever watches me, please understand. I still have not ever watched anyone else play this game. Does everyone get that watches me? That when everyone else is watching my guides or things and then they critique me, they don't realize I don't see the sources they're talking about. So every trick I've learned never came from someone else. If I do it because I learned it. And that's why there's no backseat gaming. I never learned anything on this game from anybody else. I hope people understand that because that makes a lot more sense on why some things can be harder for me. Because I don't have the benefit of being able to, you know, sit there and look at the best strategy. And I don't look at anyone else's. And if I don't think of how to get through it, then oh well. Yeah, I mean, everything that's on there, I thought of myself. I might not get sick of it, the game. The weekly challenges are one of the only reasons I come back lately. I'm okay. There are big gaps between. Yeah, every single thing about this game, I've never once looked at somebody else. So if like it's like, oh well, that looks similar to someone else. Great, I'm glad it looks similar. I've never seen them play the game, and that only gets frustrating when people show up in the comments and they're like, you know, it was really early on. Someone was like, oh no, you should watch the other video again one more time to see how they do something with the knife or something like that. I'm like, watch what other video again with someone doesn't know? I learned how to do what I was doing with the knife on my own. I don't know what they do. I've never watched anyone else play this game, so anything you watch from me is zero input from anybody. I keep it that way. So yeah, it can make things harder for me. My stubbornness of not wanting to watch anybody else play this game can make things harder for me for sure. It could be a lot easier. Then again, as soon as I start playing the game the way somebody else plays it, am I really playing it the way I want to play it? Like, because you see I play it a lot. I'm not just, you know, if someone uses one of my guides or whatnot, they're probably wanting to get an achievement so they can go blow things up. But they're probably also not streaming it like every week, every other week, and then spending hours on hours on hours with the public like you guys. And doing so, like I'm doing a little bit more with it. So I don't want to start doing so much more with it and then start feeling like I'm playing it the way somebody else plays it and not me. So it's definitely still me. Whatever you see here, it's totally...
Hello?
Remember guys, notebook right there. The giant ass notebook of notes. It's totally real. I had to take a fuck ton of notes to ever be like this ever, so... Fuck ton of notes. That was a lot of notes. No. Patch the window. So, at least submit. No, he's not deleting his messages. Nightbot is. He's using all caps. Nightbot doesn't like that. But yeah, my notebook. If you watch any of my other stuff, you'll see that I long since gave up defending the fact that I don't watch other people do much of anything. So if you watch The Last of Us and you see me, I was told I predicted too much of The Last of Us what was happening. Like I predicted too much of what was coming up and people called and cried foul on that. But I was very honest with how much I'd seen of the game. I had only ever once started seeing the beginning and I didn't remember that I'd even really started the game up. So the very beginning toward like the prologue, before the tragic things happened, and if they did, I'm not sure if I was still... I don't know. I barely saw any of the game is my point, and I never saw anyone else play it. So whatever I saw from The Last of Us, you gotta just chalk up to... They wrote very realistic characters in realistic situations, and they did very good plotting out the story. And so when you watch me play it, and it looks like I'm just picking it apart so easily... it's just because I'm spending a lot of time. I mean, I'm sure if somebody else, you know, when you watch it and you binge watch it now, I guess it's easy to forget that the dates on some of my videos where I seem to be able to predict the future. Some of those dates can span a few days, and some of those dates span a week or two in the process of me getting through that game and really trying to give it the justice it deserves. So oh my dad, he was right there. So in the process of getting through it, people binge watch it now and figure for me to know something, I had to have done something. But no, I just had a week or two to really think about what I'd done. You know, something tragic happens on the screen, or I see something coming and they like rub my nose in it, and I gotta really think of like, what would the writers do here, and what do I know about the game, and like, you know, I think in situations like that, it's just easy to forget that I had the time. I had the time to really sit back and think about what I'm doing, and then I came up with, you know, my best guesses and hypotheses about what would happen, and then I would present them in a video, and people that watched them live knew that I was taking a lot of time to try to do the best I could, and people that binge watch it later forget that I took a lot of time to see what I was doing. So people that come later are the ones that usually comment and say, you had to have watched this game before. Nope. Did not know. Because remember, and this is, I won't ever really, you'll hear me say it again, but if I really knew what was ever going to happen in The Last of Us, I would have never touched the game. For those of you guys that actually, instead of looking at my playlist, go look at when my videos were released. Within the week of releasing the first Last of Us video, I released the video that my brother had died. Now, for anyone that would like to make the distinction on the idea of the loss of a brother and how it would affect you, and maybe how that would play out for somebody playing The Last of Us with having freshly buried their brother, maybe you would see that if I had known some of the things that were going to happen in The Last of Us happened, I would not touch it yet. I wasn't emotionally ready. I think not being emotionally ready made me better at being able to, you know, be with the game. But like, if I had known what was going to happen in that story, can people really call foul and cheater on me and then be like, no, you subjected yourself to that on purpose? That heartache and pain. And then the weirdest thing, if you want to know the last little tidbit, on the episode where I break down and I cannot stop the episode because I can't like do an outro, I'm crying too hard. I couldn't do an outro. People were asking, were you looking off to like your other monitor? Were you trying to like see how well you're reacting? Like, people were like, hey, you're looking off the screen. It looks like you're trying to look at something. And were you faking your reaction? When I was first playing that game, the way my monitors were set up, I had the camera, and I had the screen I'd play on. So the screen I'd play on is always on the left, and then I'd have my monitors on the right. I'm looking over this side. Right next to that monitor is a picture of my brother and I. So as soon as what happens on screen happens, and apparently I screamed no, and I didn't realize it until I got into post-production of the video, like actually trying to put the video together, I realized that I screamed no. Like, that guttural, like, no, right before I break down in tears, is an honest reaction of, like, realizing what's about to happen and not being able to stop it. And I screamed. I didn't realize it did. I was staring at a picture of my brother and I together. And I was like, once I stepped away from it, I was like, that was rough. I spent probably the next 3 days on and off not being able to accomplish much because I was just crying. Like, I'm a man enough to be able to admit, I don't know why it ever has to come against manliness, but that game tore me up when that scene happened, and having just lost my brother. And then, like, watching that and just, I was not okay. So I stopped the video with, like, some text, but, like, and because I realized when I was going back to it, I kept the camera rolling for a long while, hoping that I got myself together so I could, you know, do an outro of some sorts. I never got myself together. It never happened. Me getting together just never happened. So I just said some text on the video. And, you know, I apologized the next time I came out. And I spent some time away from the game. And so many people actually poured out support. And that surprised me. I was afraid to put that up because I was afraid people would just, like, make fun of the fact that, you know, pretty much a grown man crying on screen. And I was like, whatever. You know, I guess people do that shit, and I can't let that stop me. Or, you know, people thinking, you know, that it's not a real reaction when it was god-awful real. So... See, please be dead. Oh, come on. I can't... I don't think I hear him. But, that was one of the first encouraging times I ever got that I was allowed to actually have my real feelings on the channel. Because that was just a cry fest. Dadgummit. But for anyone... who's ever... Yay! Anyone who's ever wondered, you know, what I must have been looking at was a picture of my brother and I during The Last of Us, and I didn't know anything that was coming up. And anyone who's watched me play it and wondered if I knew what was going on, just remember, I lost my brother within a week of starting The Last of Us. A week and a half of starting The Last of Us. So if you know what happens in the game, you'd realize that nobody who's lost a sibling... Especially when, like, my brother was only a year and a half older than me. No one who's lost their sibling is going to play The Last of Us right after that. Not if they know what's about to happen. So, that and, but I finally got, I don't know. I felt better about it ever since Hellblade. Ever since Hellblade, only because Ninja Theory, the people who made Hellblade, actually gave me a shout out. As far as I know, I'm the only one they ever gave a shout out to about their game, because please don't tag me, please don't tag me, please don't tag me. Because I didn't even know they would ever find me. I had no idea, no reason to know that they knew I existed, would ever watch me play the game, anything like that. I never had any idea that Ninja Theory would, you know, have any interest in a small-ass little channel like mine. But as that game went on, I started realizing there was a dissonance in that game. And basically, if you ever start watching it, you'll start hearing me start questioning how we're jumping between Norse and Celtic mythology in that game. And something clicked. And I realized what she must be going through. I realize what actually is happening in the story behind the story that you're being presented. And so once I realized what was happening, that took a lot of work to try to make sure. No, don't do this again. Oh, come on. All right. Oh, come on. Oh, they're all right here? Cool. I didn't get tagged. I had a do-si-do, but I didn't get tagged. So anyway, I played Hellblade. Didn't think much of it. All of a sudden, one day, someone's like, Hellblade just tweeted out your playlist and said you got the story right. Like, what? It's like, yeah, check this out. And sure enough, the guys from Ninja Theory said that, hey, there's a YouTuber who actually got the story right and whatnot, or came as close as possible to getting the story right, and tweeted out my playlist for Hellblade. And it made me feel better about anyone who ever accuses me of not, looking at games first, because Hellblade was new. There was no wiki to go look at for what the game was really about. There was nothing to go cheat off of. There's nobody else who had put out, like, their ideas of the story and the theories on that. There's just nothing else out there. So, there was nothing, like, you can't say that I went off and cheated my opinions through Hellblade, and Ninja Theory gave me props for actually figuring their game out, and there's nothing that can take it away, because there was no information for anyone to even cheat from. So that's where I stopped caring what people say. Now every like 3 months, somebody that says shit like that, I respond to and I go, hey, if I had known what would happen in The Last of Us, I wouldn't have touched the game. And they're like, you know what, good point. And I just make it like a every 3 month ritual. So, ooh, okay, yeah. I totally want to use a flash on the tyrant right here, simply so that I can save some footsteps, but
Jesus Christ.
This is good enough for me. No, I'm not. I wouldn't. I'm trying to keep up with things over there, haven't I? Smart. Waiting for the Stimpy Stompy to go away. No, not just. I need to, you know, take a few more classes and try to up my smarts lately. I'm lacking. No, it's not that. I would never consider myself just so smart. It's just that I'm not willing to let things rest. So if there's a question, I'm not just going to be like, I don't just want a one-sentence answer off a wiki. And then if it's something that's worth my time to look up in the first place and want to learn about it, it's not something I want to forget either. So I kind of just leave clues that I had looked it up around. Reinforcement. You know, and over time, I guess it's just that kind of mentality. Over time, you just accumulate. Now, the thing my brother and I always talked about was that we're full of borrowed knowledge, and that's what we've always called it. We're full of all these things that we know, but they're not original ideas. And I guess most knowledge that we have is borrowed knowledge. By that, I mean, like, from a textbook from somebody else. Somebody else thought it. Maybe I'm regurgitating it to you, but I didn't come up with that thought. That wasn't me. That was somebody else, and maybe I can extrapolate a few things from it. But other than that, I've borrowed the knowledge that I'm now passing on here, and it's not something that I experimented usually or found or anything like that. It's something that I've taken knowledge from different sources. My brother and I were obsessed with that for a long time because our own question of like existing mortality, all those things, was a real issue. And in existing mortality, all these questions that can come up and just start scaring you while you're younger. Nathan thought of something that stuck with both of us for a long time. That when people are remembered, you either have to have great deeds or thoughts that no one else has ever had. And literally, I mean, or horrible deeds, you can go that way. But I mean, actions or unique thoughts. Like, this world revolves around the thoughts of dead people who thought something, if not for the first time, they're the first ones to break it down and explain it so everyone else knew what the fuck they were thinking about. And so we always had this crisis in the back of our head that we wanted to be understood on some level, and we wanted to have an original thought. In wanting to have an original thought, we went to a lot of links and we would talk all the time, and that's why my brother claimed I was smarter, even though he's the one with the addictive memory, even though he's the one that literally can memorize textbooks and tell you what page he got information off of, and he just does it offhandedly. He's a walking fucking encyclopedia, and he calls me smarter, and it's simply because of, it's all it boils down to is what we wanted out of life. And he wanted to be remembered, but in the only way that was really possible in his eyes, which is to have an original thought or idea. So we toiled a long time over that, years, decades, over taking all this knowledge, and then literally we'd sit in his room, in the living room, in my living room, wherever, and we'd just talk. He'd pass textbooks off to me and be like, read these by next week. And so I'd have like 2 or 3 textbooks that usually you're supposed to read them for a college course, and Nathan's having me pretty much having to read 100 to 200 pages a night and try to remember what the fuck I'm reading because he wants to have a conversation about some damn quantum physics that I've never really thought about before. And so, you know, we're sitting here just digesting all this borrowed knowledge on the hopes that by us reading these specific things, listening to these specific talks, going through these specific discussions, that somehow we'll stumble upon the thing that no one else thought to stumble upon. That somehow our legacy will be the one thought no one's had yet, because you have to think almost everything under the sun's already been thought about. But what if no one else has quite read that body of knowledge? What if no one cross-checked it on that one? What if nobody read all those things and then asked that one question that could change something? What if nobody did that yet? What if we were the ones to do it? Because that's how a lot of knowledge comes along. And so that was just a long struggle. So a lot of times I've seemed smart, and I always feel that it's just borrowed knowledge. It's just things I've picked up, and I don't really consider it being smart myself. It's just It's just what I had to do to try to accomplish another goal I had. And that goal was to have a thought no one else has had. Hit me. Or take. Oh, one counter. I forgot. I'm limited on counters. That's fine. That's one counter I'm fine with. Oh! That didn't count. That shouldn't have counted. And I'll give Birkin one more. I'll give Birkin one more shot until this stream is over. Birkin gets one more bit of my night. That flash was off fast enough that I figured he would be stunned, but oh well. The save point's right there. It's fine. I just went through the RPD without getting tagged. So I guess that's what matters right there. Oh, it's stuck in my head even harder. I'm sorry. I'm struggling that a song still is stuck in my head. Looking at you through the glass. Don't know how much time has passed. All I know that it feels like forever. No one ever tells you that forever feels like home. Sitting all alone inside your head. Yeah, it's stuck in my head still. Pete, you're welcome. It's stuck in my head. Oh, it's not ever gonna leave. It's not gonna leave. I'm on the struggle bus with that song. Oh, the struggle bus. I'm on the short struggle bus at the moment. I need my helmet and pudding. Jesus, because that song, it shouldn't be hard to get out of my head. But even if I listen to the whole thing, sing the whole thing, thinking the whole thing. What is the stars? The stars shine for you. I'm struggling hard. I could, you know what I could do? I can make it even worse. I can break out my guitar. I can play that song. I break out my guitar and just. I never sing and play guitar, really. I'll do one or the other, but I usually. All right, throwing the grenade at his feet because I don't fucking care anymore. He can suck so many fucks. Not getting grabbed this time. Got grabbed. Flash didn't work. Fuck me. Fuck me. This is experiment right now. I meant to have that flash. And he's got, okay, the spin thing, by the way, is this. You see how he does this? You can still walk around him and keep slicing him. You gotta do that on the PS4. So he goes down a third time if you do that. Does everyone see that? If you're on a vanilla PS4 or a vanilla Xbox, that's what you have to do. After he starts getting up that, or if he looks like he's starting getting up at you, he's gotta start doing the thing where you start swinging at the ground and you gotta stick near his right, your left. And if you do it and you get lucky, instead of doing the grab motion because you gotta be in just the right spot next to him, you'll start swinging down and beating. That gives you enough time to land more hits. You need it twice on the Xbox, once on the PS4. You need him to do that, and you can get through it. You might get tagged once, but I think on PS4 I did it cleanly. So yeah, that's what if you got a vanilla system, that's what you got to do. So that's just the thing. Now, and this, since I got to reload this for tomorrow's stream, we're pretty much finished. But I'm gonna go and glance over here to remember. I need the ammo. The herb, I can grab it now. There's an herb upstairs too, because we can only use 5 healing items. So, and then this would be more ammo, so it's worth my time to run around and grab that. Especially since we have ammo that I can't remake. Is it worth my time to come over here? Yeah, the grenade. The grenade can save me running around later on... Well, the Tyrant. If it comes down to no one else, the Tyrant fight. The more grenades I have, the less I have to do circles around them. So, I guess I still need to hit the corners. That's pretty much it, though, for tonight. Ooh. Alright, I'm looking at the chat one last time as I close this thing down, and never gave us a clear run, just guide. No, I've done plenty of clear runs, but I didn't do the clear run for static videos. I've just done them here online because I have me starting to play as Claire, and I think that video has even been uploaded for months. Me being a noob, let me check it really quick. I think me being a noob is actually loaded on my channel. It's private, so you guys can't see it. But me noob on that is there, and then the other videos got there's corrupted on my side, so I couldn't finish it off. So if I were to go back and do Claire static videos for you guys to see on that on that playlist, then it would be the my stomach decided not to agree with me for 2 seconds. You would see like the first video of me being like completely noob as I started this game out, and then after that I'd be like, all right guys, let me go whoop smash. Let's see, did I ever upload, because I know I did it and I know it's made, I know it's the only one that could exist. Wow, done a lot of live streams since then. You guys don't see, like, I've done like, this is like 50 live streams. I know. Yeah, here it is right there. There it is. Yeah, it's sure as hell still sitting there. Yeah. So the first part of it, and there it is for proof. You guys can't see it, but look, there it is. There it is. I did it. It's the first video, and it's just sitting there with no views. Private. Resident Evil 2 Remake 2019 Part 1, Claire 2nd. Yeah, it's there. I just haven't ever released it because I need to replay Claire 2nd all the way through, because me being a noob playing it got erased. So I could go back. And 4th of July was started 2 hours and 52 minutes for me, but I did some fireworks. So anyway, there's a lot of things I need to upload, release to you guys, do all those kind of things. But tonight was a late start, and my son's gonna make me jog in the morning, so I need to go lie down. I'm trying to play the credits real quick before and just hope that... Hey, Jordan! Hold the fuck! When did you get here? Looking at you through the glass. Ah! Don't know how much time has passed. All I know is that it feels like forever. No one ever tells you that forever feels like home. Sitting all alone inside your head. Yeah, that's off. Your head. It's stuck in my head. Somebody help me. Thank you, everyone that donated. I cannot say that name. I just realized I can't. Joey Saley, Daniel Green, Isimono, and new subscribers Jerizo, Sicardart, Zenfra, Take Bane, Dark Skull, Vaporwave, Lucio, Kenny, the loser that wins, shit, and Val is back as a member. Son of a bitch! I screwed it up and it's just short credits. Oh, fuck me. Alright, well, we're... Hey, Leonhardt, what's going on? Well, hello, goodbye type thing. And PS Vita Fantasy. Whoa, you've changed names. Is that your name? Is that always been your name? That's too many stars. Hi there. Good morning. Good morning, good afternoon, and good... Oh, thank you for the compliment. You had to have changed your name. Anyway. Alright, so your name is Terry, but... I swear... Did you always go with PS Vita Fantasy? I swear. Have you... Maybe I'm just having a mental breakdown. Thank you guys so much for watching. Tomorrow we're actually going to do this run for reals. I've got practice now so I can run through it. And, oh, hey, let's just for shits and giggles see how many steps I took. Anyway, everyone, I'm going to quit and go back to that screen. You can see why I'm being anal about steps in 2 seconds. After you realize how many steps it just took. How many steps it just took to do what I'm doing? And we'll see. Here, credits have to go up now for just a moment. Here we go. Let's see how many steps I took to the save point or whenever it wants to count it. I'm gonna be disappointed. It's gotta be till the save point. If everyone thinks that you don't have to run as much in the RPD, please look at this and realize why every step I take is a fucking nightmare. If you don't think the RPD takes as much time, this is with some of the steps of being downstairs, so maybe you can shave off 100 of them. Because I can tell what it's doing right there. Because I used the combat knife. I didn't use the combat knife until I fought Birkin right then. After Birkin fight... I'm a fourth of the way through the steps, and everyone who thinks about this game thinks about the sewers making you walk back and forth more, thinks about the labs making you walk back and forth more, and we're not even finished being up in the RPD. We got to go back up in the RPD after we do the... I've used up a fourth of my steps. This is a pain in the ass right there, so that's a thing. So, hey, Jim. Hello and goodbye. And Stephanie. Hi, you've been here the whole time, Stephanie? I'm sorry. I'm bad. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope to see you guys back here for the next one, which is hopefully tomorrow, really soon. Tomorrow. Hopefully. Bye.